Hello everyone. Today I'm making this short video to show the RGB capabilities of new Phanteks Evolv X case. The case that I just got yesterday, but I still didn't get to put it together. So instead of building a PC inside and testing all the RGBs, I will try to hook up them to my current case, my current motherboard. In this way, we will test both the built-in Phanteks controller and also I will demonstrate how to connect the case RGBs of Phanteks to motherboard that is equipped with addressable LED header. Okay, so if you remember my yesterday's unboxing video, at the backside of the case, under the cable management panel, you can see all the connectors going off to the RGB section of case. Most important that I think is this one. This is the SATA power connector. I'm nearly certain that it's powering a lot of stuff in here, including the LEDs and maybe the fan hub. Second important thing, this cable. This is the RGB cable. It comes with two connectors. First one is standard RGB 4-pin, very tiny, and second one is the GST SM connector, the one that is found in most stock addressable strips. So my plan is like this. I will try to connect the power to the case only to power the RGBs without actually starting the case, because there is nothing inside. The power will be going from my current case and PSU. I already unplugged one of my HDDs for this. And second thing that I'm going to do is connect one of these headers directly to my motherboard and see how the case will synchronize with the motherboard lights. In my case, it's going to be Asus Aura, but every other motherboard uses the same exactly connectors, so it will work for Gigabyte and MSI. So yeah, let's start. Okay, so let's look at the manual first. There is plenty of cables related to RGB in the case. First one is said to be two Phanteks DRGB products. This cable is right here. Oh, this is the one. This GST SM 3-pin connector, standard connector. Phanteks claims it's supposed to go to the Phanteks RGB products, but I'm 100% sure it's universal connector. So if you got any LED strip with VSW LEDs, you can connect them to this one without any issues. This is not some kind of proprietary connector, nothing like this. It's a standard universal connector, and everything connected to these two ports will be using the Phanteks built-in RGB controller right here. This second connector is just alternative ending, same function, different shape. You can choose which one to use. There is power supply cable. This is the one. So everything that you connect to these two cables, will be powered from the PSU. So you don't have to worry that, for example, your motherboard supports only 60 LEDs because it is rated up to 3 amperes. Every LED connected to this Phanteks controller will be powered directly from the PSU, allowing it to use higher currents. And last but not least, the female connector, 4-pin, 3-pin actually, one is missing. It's called to the digital RGB motherboard. That's right, this is the cable you are going to use to synchronize your motherboard with your case. The thing is that if you do it, the LEDs in Phanteks case will be using power from the motherboard, so you have to watch out for the currents. And then if you connect something to these two connectors, it will be running on separate circuits. You can actually use both motherboard to control lighting of the case itself using whatever software you have there, whether it be Aura or arrows, lighting, etc, etc. So yeah, I just connected one of my PSU SATA power cable through an extension cord that I luckily had from my I/O cooling directly to the Phanteks SATA cable, SATA power cable, and to the case lighting. And as you can see from behind, it started already doing some rainbow patterns. Now I need to figure out how to turn it around. Give me one moment. My new case, Evolv X, is now connected only and only to the SATA power from the PSU that is still in old case. And as you can see, all the RGB is already active on the PSU shroud. Is actually awesome. It's so smooth. Changing color, you can't see where the LED starts and ends. It's epic. Couldn't imagine better. And let me just connect the front panel. I just connected them and it's already lit up. Full illumination. Come on, more autofocus now. Grab the case. Come on. Silicone. I think it's okay now. So yeah, these are the standard modes of the built-in Phanteks RGB controller. And what do we have here? Where's the manual? Okay, we should have two buttons on the front panel. Yeah, so there are two buttons, one for mode, one for color. I have no idea which one is which, so I'll try the first one. Oh, this is the mode. We are on the solid mode, and now with the second button we can switch colors from set of predefined colors. Then we can switch to breathing mode. Come on, breath, don't die on me. There we go, it's slow. We can't control the speed at all. Now we have something called a radar mode, and as you can see, in any of the modes we can switch color. Now we are on the radar mode. I guess this is this kind of pulsing that reminds me a little bit of Cylons from the Battlestar Galactica. LEDs are turned on and they are pulsing along its length. I actually like this one. I don't think my Aura from Asus has it. And then we have sparkle mode. It's like radar but more sparkly. Yeah, that was flawless comparison. And change color. And last but not least, did I? Yes, this is it. The rainbow mode that couldn't be missed in any of the RGB product. And one last thing, press and hold mode to turn off. Let's see. 1, 2. Front is off. 1, 2. Side is off. Then now one press and it's all on. Now let me see if I can find somewhere extra RGB lying around, so I would connect them to the case and see how the Phanteks controller works with external RGB products. Okay, so I've got a perfect RGB product to test the Phanteks controller on. It's my Christmas tree. Yeah, that's right, I have Asus Aura compatible Christmas tree that I made last winter. It's equipped with the WS12B LEDs and standard connector, and let's now try plugging it to the controller. Give me a moment. My custom-made Christmas tree is working from the Phanteks RGB controller. Just as I said, that cable that it's meant for Phanteks products only is universal standard cable for the RGB products, digital RGB, addressable RGBs, like this cheap RGB strip I got from AliExpress. China made, free shipping, etc, etc, 3 weeks of waiting, like always. So I can now keep on switching the mode. And as you can see, my Christmas tree is now synchronized with motherboard. Now, final phase of the experiment. Okay, so we are going to connect our case, Phanteks Evolv X, to the motherboard to synchronize lighting in case with lighting motherboard and anything else that could be connected to it. For that, we are going to use this little cable that's actually called to motherboard, etc, etc. The proper name is to digital RGB motherboard. That's right. And this connector uses a standard pinout. It's 4-pin connector with 1 pin missing, and from the one single pin is ground, next is empty, next is data, and the last is 5 volts. And now the trick is that different motherboard manufacturers have different names for this connector. For Asus boards, we have this one, the ADD header. As you can see, pinout is the same as in Phanteks manual, 5 volts data, empty, and ground. When it comes to the MSI named their ports as Rainbow 1. The name doesn't matter, but as you can see, it's nearly exactly same type of header, and the pinout is exactly same as in Asus and Phanteks. So we have 5 volts data, empty, and ground. And now it's time for Gigabyte, and Gigabyte went full retard. Apparently they have this kind of standard connector. It's 3-pin and it's large gold pin, VDG, and because of their stupid design and trying to be special, you won't be able to connect the case directly. You will need some kind of adapter like this one, 3-pin Gigabyte adapter. On one end it has this VDG. On the other end we have a fully standardized 4-pin with one missing connector for addressable products. So if you are MSI or Asus, you are good to go. With Gigabyte, you might need a special adapter, unless maybe Gigabyte motherboards come with this adapter. I don't know. I don't have a Gigabyte motherboard. You will have to check with your own motherboard if it has another cable. So after a bit of struggle, I finally connected the cable to motherboard, and it didn't do anything. The bar lit up, but after attaching power connector, everything came up. So let me see if this thing works. I'm gonna need to log in, and now Aura, and see if it works. It is. There we go. This is actually amazing. Let me try this. Okay, I don't know what's going on here exactly. I will have to investigate it, but first thing first. Simply like this, connecting one cable to motherboard, your whole case, the Evolv X, becomes Aura compatible, Gigabyte compatible, MSI compatible. As you can see, it can be controlled from the PC software. You can see? Yes, you can see. Let's turn on Rainbow. There we go. Motherboard, case, motherboard. Also, you should notice that I was wrong before. The stuff connected to the second connector coming from the case will copy colors from the case. So you can use the single connector on the motherboard to connect to the case, synchronize it, and then add even more RGBs to the cables coming from the Phanteks case. So I think that will be it. This is exactly what I wanted to test and show here. RGB capabilities of Phanteks Evolv X. Built-in controller, built-in RGBs, external connector for even more RGBs that can synchronize with Phanteks controller, and finally being able to connect directly to the motherboard, synchronize case with motherboard, and then through the case cable synchronize even more RGB accessories to the motherboard. That's what I wanted to say. And the last thing that I'm not sure why is happening, apparently when I unconnect the SATA power from the case, the front panel shuts down. Not only front panel, but also the side panel freezes. This is not something I want to be happening. I suspect in some way the strips are drawing power from the PSU. So this is really nice because this eliminates need for power splitter. If you recall one of my videos, if you want to power large number of LEDs to bypass motherboard current limits, you will have to use power splitter to power your LEDs from PSU. but it seems the Phanteks built-in controller already comes with one, so not only you can synchronize everything, but also power it directly from the PSU. This is awesome. I really like this case. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and see you later, probably in the video where I will finally move my PC to the case. See ya!